let's get into a couple of fan favorites. One being Herb Jones, the other being Jose Alvarado. Now you've been talking about Jose Alvarado for a minute now, and I like when people report things like y'all didn't hear Dotson say the same thing like a while back as it pertains to Jose. Let's start with Herb, right? Shout out to Brett Siegel over at Clutch Points, and make sure y'all checking out my dog Dotson at Clutch Points, especially if you want to know what's going on outside of the aggregators as it pertains to the Pelicans. This is a guy that's been connected for quite some time. It's that this throughout the entire Southwest Division. Let's talk about Herb Jones, right? Herb Jones, the contract extension. It was a little questionable. I'm sure you've seen some of my issues with the contract extension when it initially happened. Got a couple of years before it becomes a bit of an issue, I'll say, right. But he's still
kick that can down the road a little bit.
Yeah, they kick the can down the road. Yeah, the only tough part is, man, time don't stop, and we don't stop getting older. So now you see her kind of starting off with a rough year, dealt with some injuries like everyone else with the calf issue. How would you assess Herb Jones's value, and what teams do you believe will be interested in Herb Jones at this juncture?
Well, we know the Warriors, Lakers. Again, shout out to Brett, another guy with Clutch Points. And this, if y'all fans want to know who to follow, I can tell you right now that me and Brett were there for day one of Summer League. I was there for the last day of Summer League. I trust anybody who was there all them days, shaking hands, going through the tunnels, doing stuff like that. If you was sitting at home just talking, I can't help you that much. But yeah, shout out to Brett. But yeah, I know he's talked and confirmed Warriors and Lakers have been in there. There's going to be a few other teams, contenders in the East, Pistons, just because they have Trajan. Hawks are going to want her. They got Bryson. Those connections are easy. Here's the one I'll throw out that I think fans are overlooking. The Thunder. Because they can kick that can down the road like we just talked about. They have the picks the Pelicans want so they can outbid everybody.
Right.
They have two older guys or bigger contracts right now that can's going to have to get kicked sooner in Caruso and Dort. Isaiah Joe's a little later. Look at what Dort was and what he become. It's Herb Jones' exact blueprint for cheaper. They can do a lot of things there, move around. I think the Thunder and Presti, they're going to shake things up. The way that the Thunder do not stick with the status quo between now and the trade deadline, I think is going to shock people.
Do you think potentially the Clippers pick could be in the conversation? Or do you think that's probably a bridge too far?
It's got to be in the conversation, right? It's got to be in the conversation. Whether they do anything or not, because the Clippers are actually in a worse spot with the Pelicans, go plant your trees, the aspirations. We want to talk about bad ownerships and bad attendance. Look at what the Clippers had the other night and what they're going through. There's only so much political goodwill they have with their fans that pick actually, I think, means more to them and keeping a hold of something that they can say we're going to build on this than maybe some other teams are going to want to give up. And that's why the Clippers are going to come in second and the two moves that they really need to make, because they want to make the play in. They think they can make another rise up. And I think they're going to hold on to that pick. They're going to value it too much. They're going to fall short. They're going to just fall on their faces.
My mistake. I meant more so OKC trading the Clippers pick and their ownership of that Clippers pick. My mistake. I should have clarified that. Because to me,
it's got to be in the conversation. Yeah, I kind of got you confused. I was thinking the Clippers, they kind of got to do something, but they need something to hold on to for later.
Right.
No, OKC, that Clippers pick has got to be in there. It's got to be. If you want to win another championship, what is that pick? Right now, the question is, and I've heard this one, shout out Seth Partnow, former with the Bucks. He's part of the SBC program we do out at Summer League every year. He will tell you, make everybody say no in the trade market, and also talk me straight up, when you're going for a championship, that's all that must matter.
Right.
That pick does not matter. Will that pick be able to go to a parade in 6 months? If the answer is no, insert expletives here for that pick. There's no point.
Also, if you're OKC, you're getting to a point where you're going to have to consolidate. You got to, the timeline is shifting a little bit, and you got a lot of people that you haven't necessarily been able to develop because you got so much talent, so many people that need minutes. You still got guys like Kenny Hustle, you got Dort, you got Caruso, you got Jang, you got Topic. Like you got so many.
AJ.
You got two Jalen Williamses. You got to consolidate at some point. If you're the Pelicans, one of the biggest questions about them has been, I need depth. I need depth, and I need cheap depth. and I need to consolidate myself with some of these larger contracts. I think that would be very, very interesting, man. I do hope. I don't think the Pelicans turning down nothing but they collar if they get a reasonable, quality offer from OKC involving that Clippers pick, because you can silence all of the doubters who've been, giving you hell about the Queen pick, because now all of a sudden you're right back in the lottery potentially.
And why not do it? Why not do it again for OKC's sake? They know they can outbid everybody with that pick.
Right.
They can identify somebody that's a championship. He's going to tilt the scales a little bit more and give them something in the role that they have offered. Who else on the market?
Yeah, OKC, you don't have time to be developing. That's not your timeline.
It's not your timeline.
That's not your timeline at this point.
Let's just go with the flow. Let's get another parade. Let's start talking dynasty. Let's start talking legacy. And in a year or two, when Herb Jones is in the Lou Dort position that he's in exactly today, oh man, I love this young kid playing for this 7th seed out here.
Right.
Hey, y'all could use Herb Jones because everybody love Herb Jones. You bring him in, you got a fan favorite. You're going to sell jerseys. They know you're going to compete hard. Hey, Presti just sold somebody else off on Herb Jones past the sell pass date. And they start talking about another parade, another championship because they still got the picks.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, that's pretty much it. I mean, identifying it's who is the Thunder going to identify that is that player. That player and whoever has that player, that team, they're probably going to get that pick. It's the same way you could probably figure out the ways on who would offer a decent offer for Zion Williamson. The Thunder will never be in that. And they don't have the spot for him. They don't have the reason to bust up their timeline.
Style of play. It's just
style of play, everything. There's only 4 or 5 teams that might get offer for Zion in the next 4 to 6 weeks.
And, one thing I'd like to emphasize is, man, windows close fast. If you got an opportunity, you got to go for it now. Look at what happened just recently with Minnesota. And now we're looking at Minnesota like, oh, man, they're going to have to trade. They're going to have to retool and reset. And
even if you do make it, look at what happened with the Bucks.
Look what happened with Dallas. Look like Golden State. I mean, with Jordan Poole.
Atlanta winning 60-something games and getting to the conference finals and ain't been back.
Phoenix. Windows close fast, man. And
what would any of those teams do with OKC's Clippers pick? They would trade it.
Right.
They would trade it.
Right.
What would LeBron do? What would Griff do with LeBron in Cleveland? He would trade it and get a ring and worry about the rest of that later.
Right. Hey, we've seen teams do this tons of times in the past. So I will
be in OKC in a week. I'll send y'all some video. I will be there for Thunder versus Grizzlies. I don't know how that matchup's going to be.
Yeah.
Going to be in there shaking some hands, doing some things. But I do believe the way the Thunder shake up their status quo, because you can't stick with the status quo in this league. The Warriors did it and still fell short. Then they shook it up, fell short. Kevin, look at how that worked out. If Thunder want to be at that level, they have the tools right now to go ahead and guarantee that second ring almost. I mean, who's going to stop them if they upgrade and they've only lost 1 or 2 games?
True indeed. Now,
trade that pick.
To pivot a little bit, but to kind of, I guess, stick with the Herb Jones narrative, Brett, he's been on top of the Jonathan Kuminga story this entire offseason. What do you think?
I know he's tight with some Warriors folks. I know he's tight with some people out there out west. He's made some trips. So if it's coming from him, I trust him.
Yeah. What would you make of the Pelicans' interest in Jonathan Kuminga?
I don't think he would stay here. I think he'd be moved. There's
third 3-team type situation.
Right. I was back in the day. It kind of reminds me. I was a big believer in Andrew Wiggins. I thought as soon as he got from the T-Wolves to the Warriors, he'd do great things, win a championship. He did that. It's kind of fell short, whatever. Kuminga needs a new team. I don't think that new team is New Orleans the same way that Golden State was that new team for Wiggins, or even Nikhil. Look at how Nikhil needed a new spot. I just don't think that Kuminga. Yeah, it's not a right fit for me in New Orleans. But I think if you do get him, you're just going to be passing him back off for 80 cents on the dollar. So why not try and work something else there? Maybe be the third team to get some of the assets. Jose goes out because Jose Alvarado's contract's about to be up.
Yep.
It's just the writing's on the wall there. He's playing too good here to hold him back. If you want to be right by New Orleans and you can't afford him later, let him go try and win a championship now.
What
So
speaking
get in there like that.
speaking of Jose, because I had a pretty interesting like 3-team trade I put together for us. Chicago, with Kuminga going to Chicago and maybe Herb going to the Golden State Warriors in the 3-team deal, then bringing over is it Grant that's in Chicago, played for University of Maryland, if I'm not mistaken. I don't want to I probably got his name messed up. I say Grant because he looks like Horace Grant with the goggles. Stretch big 4 or 5. I think
That would work. Yeah, those 3 type of things would work. And I love them trade machine things y'all do. I love it.
That's the most fun in the league, especially when you got a bad team like the Pelicans right now. But